Hello, 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 guys and gals and non-binary pals. Welcome to Mental Health Monday. Sorry, I was trying to get everything to work all at once, and it did not want to find the internet source. So that was the biggest struggle so far. It's just finding the internet source to get the internet to work so that I could showcase what I was trying to do. It's just so hard. Okay. Well, today's stream is going to focus on different queer organizations and how they can help with different mental health resources. For the most part, I've just pulled up the actual web pages they have because I went through trying to figure out what tabs to click on and what tabs to not click on. Some of them are just these are images of people doing it. That's not a good way to phrase it. They're basically images of, hey, we went to this event, here's pictures from the event. So you get to see people that were actively helping with the activity booth or whatever. It's for, I guess, privacy reasons. I'm not gonna be showing any of that. Or at least I'm going to try not to show that. There might be some images, some places that I'm not aware of. For the most part, these are, as far as I'm aware, I've only found specifically this is the group of a queer organization. For the most part, the people in charge are either actively talking about queer people, helping them, or kind of went to fulfill a role in that. And as soon as I just started now, I immediately just thought of another group that that's the group. So I haven't looked at this organization at all, but my brain just thought of it right now. So I was like, ooh, let's show that one too. So let me just switch everything around. Oh, I also figured out how to get a chat box working. So anyone who's in the chat, it should show up that you've messaged above me. So hopefully I can see it sooner than later. With all that said, we're going to switch over to internet stuff. Yeah. I did this backwards. The sidebar should be above them. There we go. Awesome. Yay! I got it to work. I kind of blend into this as a background though. Huh. Oops. I mean, that's what I get for having my color scheme be the same as the flags. When I'm using a flag as a background, I kind of blend in. I didn't think about that, but it's kind of funny to realize for the first time ever now. Yay. Okay. So essentially, the main one that most people think about is the Trevor Project. Um, they help with. They have different hotlines for actual like suicide prevention and things like that. But they're mostly a queer focused group. They've got counselors. So like they are more specifically a tool. Like, get help. There's reach a counselor, chat with us, call us, text them. Like they're most specifically for, hey, if you have a mental health problem and you're queer and you want someone that you can talk to that like understands the queer part, the queer aspect of you, that's how this will work, sort of thing. Like I know when I was in college I would use the college counselor, but most of like the counseling sessions ended up being, hey, this is what I mean when I say that I am asexual. Like this is me explaining terminology to you so that you can understand when I say, hey, I'm struggling with this part of myself. Or like I'm trying to figure this thing out and why I feel different compared to other people. So maybe my perspective isn't what the counselor is saying, but is in fact me trying to figure out how to put what I am feeling into words that are understood. With the Trevor Project, the counselors and others that you can talk to for different reasons all already have that background of when this person says they're struggling with feeling put out, I guess, I don't know, because of their queer identity, that person understands is like, okay, well, I can help you with why you're feeling this or how you're feeling this, sort of thing. Whereas the regular counselor would just be like, okay, you need to tell me what that means because I'm not following just these terms that you're throwing out. Like, I'm understanding that you feel alone or whatever, sort of thing, but I'm not understanding what you want me to help you with or how you want me to help you. My phone just started falling over. Okay. It is stable again. I forget that I have to sit up in order to make the model thingy happen. So it's fun trying to remember to do that. But yeah, so like they've got different stories to show basically that you're not alone, sort of. I think that's probably the easiest way to phrase it. I can also say that I've never used the Trevor Project stuff. Like, so I can't say very well how it all works. I know that while I struggle with some mental health issues, I don't actively seek help because I don't want to. Because any counselors that I have gone to have never understood what I'm trying to like talk about or why I'm trying to talk about stuff. Or have pointed out that I don't like people solving my problems for me. And so I'm more so there to try to talk it out through myself with someone else saying, hey, have you thought of this? Have you thought of this? And me going, oh, no, I'm doing this myself. Thank you. Yeah. So Trevor Project has 24/7 talk lines and things to try to help people. Or trained counselors. Let's see. Is there a map or something? No. Not that I'm seeing. I don't remember which tab there was, or if there was another. Oh yeah, you can connect with international communities of other queer students, other queer people, I guess, and try to like get to know them and realize that there are other people who are probably going through a lot of the same sort of things of not being able to be out, but still wanting people who you can talk to. I'm trying to remember if this one had the map or not. It does not look like it. But they've got different resources for different things. Helping being an ally, helping not interracial, that's not the word I'm looking for. Helping intersectional conversations between gender identity and racial identity. That's what this one's talking about. And then how to support bisexual youth specifically. I don't remember reading that article. I think this one changed since the last time I looked at this stuff. Or like it moved over. I don't remember exactly. But these two were interesting reads. It was kind of interesting how to be an ally for transgender and non-binary people. Being that I am these two. It was kind of weird to learn like the perspective of, hey, I don't know anything about this group or how I can help with whatever mental health issues they might be having. But it was fun. These are all good reads. You can start trying to donate, help with people, volunteer time, work with them, like all those sorts of things. And they have the typical business side of stuff. But like there's one of these I couldn't click on. One of these I shouldn't click on. I think it was community I shouldn't click on. Yeah, but they have different topics of like, hey, you're trying to figure something out, but you don't really know what terms are going on. Like, so here's some things that you can look at to try to figure out like terminology of like, I think I might be something like this, but I'm not quite certain if what I'm feeling is just platonic attraction or if it's sexual attraction, and like understanding the difference between like what asexuality is a bit, what bisexuality is. Like those sorts of things. Like there's a suicide hotline, help a lot more. So yeah, they have Trevor Project has a lot of different resources to try to figure out what they. So many pop-ups, but they're not ads, so they don't get blocked by an ad blocker. But they have so many resources to just try and help you like understand what's going on. Like when I say I'm non-binary, what does that mean? If I were to say I was like, if someone says they're trans, what does that mean? Just trying to help you through, like, if someone comes to you and is like, hey, I think I might be transgender, I don't know what to do about it, I feel like doing this and this and this, what can I, like, how can I get help? Like, I trust you as a friend, what can I do to seek help, or anything like that. These are the sorts of places that you can go via. And I've got a specific tab for mental health specifically. Just like general facts about suicide for queer students, like something like this is a lot more of like statistics and facts, and then these are resources for if you're not an American individual, here's international resources, which, like, I try to give the international suicide hotline sort of thing in the description of my videos, because I think that is also an important thing to note. It's like Trevor Project has specifically, hey, you are queer and not living in America, resources to help. Whereas, like, if you're on, like, the link I have is literally just to Wikipedia with all of the suicide hotline numbers throughout the world. So, like, if you're looking specifically for, hey, I'm a queer student who is going through this situation and I need help, and it is specifically because of some sort of, like, you got outed at school and you weren't ready for that sort of thing, and that's the driving factor of why you aren't feeling okay. Trevor Project has resources for helping that if that's your driving factor. Whereas just the article that I have underneath my page, underneath my description, is just, here's help if you need it, but it's not a specific thing about a specific topic or for a specific reason that you might be feeling the way you are feeling. Whereas Trevor Project is more specifically, hey, because of this issue that you are facing in your personal life that is directly related or correlated to a queer identity, here is a mental health resource to talk to someone who might actually understand, or at least will be someone who isn't, okay, how do you want me to help, because I'm very confused as to all these terminology things you just said, like, I don't know what asexual is, so you've confused me, but I'm trying to help you not do what you're saying you're going to do. Trevor Project has people and resources that are, I understand what you mean when you say you are asexual, so that's not the issue of what this topic is. How do I help you? So, like, they're good at that, or at least they are better than just a suicide hotline, because of that reason, that they will understand what's going on a lot more. I don't know if I explained any of that better or well enough. Like, you can always just click a button to reach a counselor, talk to people, seek help. I think Trevor Project tends to be like the go-to for most people when they think of a, like, you want to donate to a queer organization that helps support queer people and mental health issues. Trevor Project is the first place people think of. And, like, well, that is good and does help, it is not necessarily always going to be the best group to talk to or to try to seek out. For instance, the next one I'm going to talk about is a group called Dad's Hug 2, which is a spinoff of Free Mom Hugs, which is the one that I thought of like as I was trying to start. It's just like, oh, how did I forget that group? But Dad's Hug 2 is the next group we'll talk about. And it's actually a group that in real life I have helped with different events. So that's always fun. But they are more of an Oklahoma-based group. So I think it's specifically Oklahoma. Let's go to the homepage for a second. I don't know if they have a new web page for it, but some parts of the Dad's Hug 2 group are trying to change to being Allies in Motion, because it's trying to show that not everyone is a dad or is a parent even, but can still help with different life skills. A lot more of Dad's Hug 2 is focused on the physical side of helping people. Like, they're not specifically they're not directly a mental health organization, but they are more of a physical, hey, you got kicked out of the house because of your queer identity, which is a lot less common nowadays, which thank goodness. But when that was a lot bigger of an issue, they started doing little like seminars of, hey, these are life skills that your dad normally would teach you, such as changing a car tire, learning how to do an oil change, different like physical labor sorts of things. And apparently now they're an affiliate program for Oklahomans with equality. I didn't mean to click on that. I didn't realize that was a hyperlink. Oops. I hope nothing appeared that I shouldn't be shown on YouTube. Oops. But I don't mess up anything in my streams, none whatsoever. Yeah, here's like their actual like mission statement. They envision doing what all dads should do, emotionally supporting and teaching queer people the skills needed to succeed in life. They're dedicated to investing in the lives of queer youth and adults and empowering them with knowledge and resources to help them gain confidence, self-sufficiency, and safety. I realize you might not have been able to read that. But basically what they do is they go to different events and different places throughout the year to say, hey, we're going to teach you how to write a resume, or we're going to teach you how to change the oil in your car, under the guise of, if your parents have walked out on your life because of your queer identity, or like not even because of queer identity, it could be, hey, we just don't want you here anymore, I don't want to take care of you, send you off to the world as soon as you're 14, 16, something like that. But they don't want to put you in the foster care system, sort of thing. So it could be for whatever reason, honestly. Like, or it could even be, hey, one of my parents died, So I don't have that father figure in my life who is able to or willing to teach me how to do these things. So it's just the idea of this organization is there to help people who don't have that father figure that is capable of teaching them these different life skills that may be necessary. And so there, I guess as you can kind of see on the screen a lot more, it is definitely a much more Oklahoma, southern U.S. group, but I am fairly confident that if anyone reached out and was just like, hey, I'm not living in Oklahoma, but I'm having this problem where I need to figure out how to do this. Do you have any YouTube tutorials that show how to do this in a more loving, respectful way, and like actually teach me how to do it instead of just like a how to change your tire real quick, 60 seconds, let's go sort of video. Like, and as far as I'm aware, they actually do have a YouTube channel. I don't know if it's named Dad's Hug 2 or not, but at least from the last few years helping out with some of their events, I want to say that they do have at least some YouTube or Facebook or Instagram sort of links to videos of someone changing the tire that's like actually informative instead of just here's how you do it, good luck, without any explanation. Or like they'll just assume that you know what an Allen wrench is, sort of thing. I don't think an Allen wrench is used for that. Maybe I need to find these videos too. I don't drive, so I know how to change a tire, but I don't know the names of the tools to change the tire. That's what I just realized trying to give examples of things that they do. But they also help with like making resumes. Let's see, actually, and they're about resources. They have different resources. I may as well just click on this and go through the list of resources instead of, yeah, you got this, we're here to help, love you. Patch the hole, paint the wall. I'm not someone who likes the words love you or I love you sort of things. It's like that's kind of off-putting to see first and foremost, but at the same time, they mean well. I can tell you that. Oh, they have, these are not resources that I was expecting. I swear I looked through this website. I swear I did. Oklahomans for Equality. What's this one say? I can't read the top part of that. The Equality Center, Trevor Project again, we just looked at. 5-star bills, 50. What? This is also a link from the Trevor Project. Oh, I realize what's going on. My brain doesn't function very well. Oklahomans for Equality, this is their webpage. Trevor Project, this is their webpage. My kid is gay, this is their webpage. I didn't think about this one being a web resource to look at today. But I can always look at that. Videos, advice, and resources dedicated exclusively toward helping parents understand their queer children. Helps answer the question that parents, family, and teachers have about the queer young people in their life. Yes, I'm choosing to say the word queer instead of the alphabet because it's faster for me and my brain doesn't flub up the word queer as quickly as it does LGBTQIA+. Also because I'm more comfortable with calling myself queer than I am calling myself trans, questioning, asexual, demisexual. Like it doesn't, the plus sign at the end is where I'm more identifying at than anything else in the letters of the acronym. And there's also the problem that some people say that the A stands for ally and don't believe that ACE happens. So that's a whole other issue I'm not going to talk about because it's going to bug me and I'm going to get stuck on it for way too long. So I'm going to read this word as queer so that I don't get stuck on it. I swear I read over this webpage though, so I might have just skipped over the resources assuming that it was what I thought it was. Yeah, they have different like events that they're going to that they can show you with. They have different merch items too. Like I have a what's this called? Cup holder. Coffee mug holder, something like that. That is the Dad's Hug 2 hand print. I just keep my drink on because why not? It's a cup holder. It keeps my table from getting sticky from condensation sitting there for way too long. But that's another, not necessarily mental health oriented group, but more of a physical oriented group, which I guess still can be part of mental health. Like if your car is breaking down because of a flat tire and you don't know how to change it, that negatively will affect your mental health. And this is a problem, but I can't fix it. So now what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? Mental health problem starts kicking in, anxiety sort of things. So like Dad's Hug 2 may not be near you, but they can still affect you and help you. So that's one of the reasons I like the group. They do have a lot more, they're on Instagram as well. Yeah, on the side here, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. I'm going to click on the YouTube just to be safe. I think this is what I'm thinking of. I hope no video starts playing. But yeah. They have different videos to show and to help you. Okay, they have 3 introduction videos and then how to change oil and check stuff. So they're not a bad group of people. They're really fun to hang out with too. Even though I'm not a parent to do any of that. And that's one reason that they have kind of shifted more towards calling themselves Allies in Motion, because not everyone is a dad or needs a dad or even wants a hug from a dad, which is specifically what they started out as. I'm pulling all the way back to like last year, 2 years ago, when I helped them at a bunch of events to try to remember exactly like how they phrased it when they're like, we're switching to this namesake instead. Essentially, it was when this organization started out, it was specifically just going to events and hugging people who didn't have a father figure in their life, who just wanted a dad to say, hey, I love you, keep it up, sort of thing, and have a hug. But then after like 2 or 3 events, 2 or 3 months of just doing that at events, other people were like, okay, now what? You've been here, you've done this event, you've hugged people, what else are you doing? Like, what exactly are you going to do now that you have hugged people, why should you stick around? What's the next goal? And that's when they started doing the help resources. And now with the idea being Allies in Motion instead of Dad's Hug 2, or at least branching into Allies in Motion, it's because not everyone is a dad. Like, most of these guys are married and have kids, some of which are queer kids. So they all just kind of figured, hey, not everyone's queer. There are moms with us now, but they're not actively part of the mom's hug side. We're not all dads, technically. Not all the volunteers that show up to help at events are dads either. So change the name to make it make more sense with who is helping. That's basically all I can remember from the multiple years ago of helping out at their events to try to put it into words as what they do, I guess. I don't know if any of that made sense. Dad's Hug 2 is much more of a physical helping group than a mental health helping group. But this is a group that I actively help with every so often. So I'm like, this is a group that's a lot more important to me than Trevor Project, because this is a physical group that I see a lot more frequently. So that's why I wanted to bring them up as well. A lot more than Trevor Project. The next group I only really heard about a lot more through me doing a Google search of different mental health organizations. This is It Gets Better Project. Here's their mission statement: is to uplift, empower, and connect LGBTQ plus youth around the globe. So their It Gets Better playlist, I don't like they have celebrities that have that are either part of the queer community or like are sharing their stories, sort of things. They have a group for outside of the US. 60,000 videos created worldwide. It's like, basically this is a lot more of just like the story focus of these are actual people talking about like getting out of situations and things. They have a Twitch stream, it looks like. Well, that should be live in 3 days, I guess, digitally. Have different issues, political anxiety, which is weird. I literally did not know that this was an actual term, like political anxiety, until yesterday when I saw this. Yesterday may have honestly been early morning today. I don't exactly know what time I was looking at these, but this is more of a group of personal stories. Yeah, here, how it started. I forgot where these. A lot of these links and things are not where I am remembering, but it has been at least 12 hours since I last looked at these. And I probably was really tired last night. How it started in 2010, Queer people and their allies all over the world uttered 3 words that would give rise to a global movement. It gets better. I doubt all of the people actually said those words, but wildly successful social media campaign was born. Do I remember this in 2010? I wasn't. No, in 2010 I didn't think I was queer at all then. Wildly successful social media campaign. I also wasn't on social media that much. More than 70,000 people sharing their stories to provide hope and encouragement to young queer people. So yeah, this is a lot more of a video movement of people's stories sharing their experience with being queer in whatever geopolitical climate they're in, because not everyone is a US citizen or from the US or has a English background even. It's like, I know with French and Spanish and other languages, it's a lot harder to have something that is, like, what am I trying to say? I know at least within French, a lot of different objects are given masculine or feminine pronouns to it. It's like, the chair I'm sitting in is la chaise, la being the feminine form. So it's like, it's a female chair. So having different gendered pronouns is a lot harder in a global environment, whereas in English, there are a lot of, English doesn't necessarily gender an item, as if you're saying it this way, it's feminine. If you're saying it this way, it's masculine. It's just an item. So like, I know globally it's probably more of an issue with non-binary sort of aspects of things, simply because of that dichotomy between masculine and feminine verb tenses. And if your only other option is calling things an it doesn't exactly help if that's not how you as a person want to be addressed. That was a definite tangent from this. Wow. How it's going, it's reached millions of young people every year with media programming, educational resources, international affiliates in 19 countries, and a lot of community-based service providers. They do a lot of stuff. You can pledge to say it gets better, I guess. I don't know. I didn't want to click these sorts of links to learn what this would take me to, because I don't want to sign up for anything accidentally. Because just personally, I don't want to. Yeah, they have videos and things as well to let you know it gets better and what that stands for. I am not as familiar with this project as the other two, if you can't tell by me kind of floundering now. But I've got a different club that, once again, I didn't click the link, so I don't know what exactly this does. But I don't know. They're a non-profit organization too, but they've got a lot of videos that you could probably find one that's talking about life experiences that you've probably gone through a lot more. They've got sources for teachers. I remember that now. They've got a lot of different groups of they have story blogs and things over here to show like the actual videos of like people saying it gets better and like their experiences. And then these series are a lot more of, here's like the physical help that we can provide sort of thing. I guess that's probably the best way to explain it, is like physical help resources are these, mental health resources are these. And I'm realizing that you might not be able to see the full titles of those. That's the wrong thing to move. This one. So yeah, there's the full titles of these things. But yeah, they kind of have both the aspects of helping you, teaching you things here in a physical sense, and then mental health wise, you can read different articles that they have shared. I'll be honest, I didn't click on a lot of these things, so I'm kind of just going off of what I'm assuming it is, simply because I'm not familiar with this group as much, and I don't fully want to like click on something that I'm not aware of. Support and resources, they have 1,100 organizations in 40 plus countries around the world offering support to queer youth like you. Yeah. And it looks like they do have specific phone numbers. They have a link to the Trevor Project. National Runaway, Safe Line, Trans Lifeline. So these are more of the, I have a problem and need to fix it right now, mental health issues to call people about. And you can search like specific venues that are going to be safe for you by location, states. So like you can say you're in the District of Columbia. You can, or I guess provinces in. Oh wow, these actually have, I want to say, are all of these Mexico? Yeah, these are all the regions of Mexico. I was trying to see if any of the regions were the Caribbean islands or not. But they've got different countries. You've got areas in the country of the United States, provinces in Canada, regions in Mexico. So mostly North America focused here by finding the support. Otherwise, you can put in your zip code specifically. This is the map that I wasn't willing to click on. I think this is the organization that I was like, I don't want to click on any of this down here, so I don't accidentally open a map of like, hey, we're going to take your actual physical location and accidentally dox myself, because that would not be cool for me. Because while some people know the area I live in, I don't really want people knowing the exact address that I live in. Or like even the city that I live in. Like, I don't care if you know I'm in America. As far as I'm aware, that's everything that I wanted to talk about from It Gets Better. They've got other groups posted down here to like talk about it. Looks like going to different sites. They have different languages that you can read the website in if you don't speak English. So if you want to find any more of these sources as well, at the end of the video, I'll take all of these different links that I have and put them in the description. I didn't think about that until now, or else I probably would have started the video with all the links going into the description. So I'll do that at the end. GSA, the Gay Straight Alliance Network, Uniting for Racial and Gender Justice, I believe. Oh yeah, these guys are much more focused on the political side of things. So like a lot less mental health focused, but still focused on things. They've got locations all over the United States. This is the actual map that I remembered looking at. I've got to hold control and zoom, but yeah, too far. There we go. So like you can kind of see like different areas around. I guess this is only showing in the US, so it's mostly focused on United States political issues. Looks like this one's not quite in Washington, D.C., but it's at least relatively close. That sort of thing. There's an entire network of California buttons, so I'm assuming there's a lot more like small locations in California, or a lot more of a presence in California than even just these 3 different cities having it, having an organization stuff. But they're mostly focused on trying to help other people, other youth, become leaders that can, at least theoretically, make schools safer, change communities, build power for the next generation of queer youth. I've brained everywhere trying to think about what this was saying and what I was trying to say. They try to help different youth leaders become leaders in a political sense. So they're much more compared to the other 3 groups we've looked at, they're much more focused on helping youth become leaders and organize things to advocate for political change. Yeah, at all levels, from school-based campaigns to national days of action for racial and gender justice. Yeah. It's so hard to think through what I'm trying to say, what I'm actually saying, and the differences between each and every group that I've brought up already. Because my brain does not function very well with this, and I'm just trying to keep talking over things, because I just can't physically focus on each individual problem and each individual difference of each individual place at the same time. It's just not where my brain's going. Dang it, I keep clicking the wrong thing. And I keep moving out of line of sight of the camera thingy. This is what I was trying to move. So you can actually see build the GSA movement full thing. Yeah. So may as well just read instead. Through our regional Organizing strategy. We infuse staff capacity and technical expertise in these regions in order to strengthen local organizations and increase trans and queer youth of color leadership, development, and engagement. So the other thing they're trying to do is make more organizations of the GSA to continue growing the GSA, to keep making more places that are safe for the GSA. I hope that all makes sense. And then they've got their different actual, like, I think this one's Instagram posts and things. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. History. This one was an actual article, that's what it was. Founded in San Francisco, 1998. They're a youth-driven organization. Started in schools, sort of thing. They're trying to strengthen and sustain GSA clubs to create school communities where all students can be safe from discrimination, harassment, and violence based on their sexual orientation or gender identity. 2005, creation of the National Association of GSA Networks to support the development of the growing national GSA movement. There's 40 statewide organizations representing more than 4,000 GSA clubs across the country. 2015, they transitioned leadership to a co-executive director model and made it an organizational priority to have queer people of color in the top echelons of management and governance to ensure that the organizational identity reflects the identity of the queer youth that participate in our programs. So 2015, they went from just like mostly white people to let's have a lot more emphasis on diversity. So cool, they got it. They tried to get it right 8 years ago instead of when they founded. Oh, I didn't realize this. That's probably why I couldn't find it easily. 2016 formally changed their name to Genders and Sexualities Alliance Network, formerly the Gay Straight Alliance Network, which is what I've been calling it this entire time. I didn't read this very well or very carefully when I just skimmed through it and went, yeah, nothing inappropriate that I can't show on YouTube. Okay, next. After hearing from countless youth leaders who understand their genders and sexualities to be uniquely theirs and have moved beyond the labels of gay and straight and the limits of a binary gender system, trans and queer students continue to name their individual school-based clubs in a way that reflects the values and identity of its members. So 2016, they rebranded from the Gay Straight Alliance, which is what I was still calling it because I didn't realize the acronym changed, but the letters stayed the same. So that's my bad, in case I was confusing anyone who knows it as Genders and Sexualities Alliance, because that might be more prevalent somewhere? I don't know. I'm really bad at this. And then they've got jobs and frequently asked questions and ways to contact people. You can help start a GSA or register one. You can give them money. You can register. Yeah, that's about all the rest of the stuff that I was comfortable talking about in a video. Now to jump over to the website that I have not looked at at all, and so I hope is safe to show on streams. Free Mom Hugs. This is where the Dad's Hug 2 branched off from. Like, you can have a free mom hug, but hey, dads also hug. That's how that kind of started. Free mom hugs. This sign in the back here is what's making me laugh a lot right now because it's funny. I've literally not looked at this website until like as I was starting. I was like, oh wait, this other group. So I'm not as familiar with this group because I mostly help out with or know of Dad's Hug 2 instead of Free Mom Hugs. But Free Mom Hugs started first, and then Dad's Hug 2 started showing up to local events, and then went, hey, if moms can give hugs, why can't dads? And then all the other stuff that I've already explained earlier in this video that you can just go back and throw that in there. Now Dad's Hug 2 and Free Mom Hugs are two separate organizations that both do their own things. What we do, I may as well click on that. Cool. The Hug People. They work to empower the world to celebrate the queer community. We embrace people of all faiths, backgrounds, ethnicities, genders, and sexual orientations. Our goal is to change the world simply by showing up. Which sounds like a cool and easy mission statement. Founded by a fierce advocate and mother, Free Mom Hugs provides visibility, conversation, and education with the hope of reconciling relationship. We sincerely believe that broken family relationships can be restored, and we work to equip family members, friends, and allies with valuable resources so they can love well. Goal is not to replace family relationships, but to display our celebration and love for the queer community so that family members feel encouraged to do the same. Though we're known as Free Mom Hugs, we welcome dads, aunts, uncles, brothers, sisters, grandparents, and friends to be part of this movement of inclusion fueled by love. The desire is that this work restores relationships and that families are reconciled through the hope and power of the founder's story. I'm assuming that's who these people are. Yay, this I'm quite literally reading word for word because I didn't look at this website ahead of time. Yay me! I'm great at this. Programs and initiatives we use to accomplish our mission vary, but most often include public speaking, peaceful demonstrations, collaborating with local and national governments, participating in pride events, providing resources, creating programs to educate and uplift communities. Yeah. National organizations like the Human Rights Campaign, PFLAG, the Trevor Project, and more. Cool. Oh, they are an Oklahoma City-based group. That's kind of cool. No wonder I recognized them a lot sooner. Do they do? Looks like they're mostly a US-based group based off of find a chapter only showing the US. Oh, okay. Do they have a group in Washington, D.C.? They do. Oh, wow. Interesting. So yeah, Free Mom Hugs works all over the place, apparently. I didn't know that. Mission and values. This is probably an important one. To empower the world to celebrate the queer community through visibility, education, and conversation. Celebrate humanity and advocate for everyone to live authentically. Strive to fully affirm, to model acceptance, kindness, and empathy to create a sense of belonging. Hold ourselves accountable for sharing what we know with others. Embrace learning as a way to make the world a better place for everyone. Serve the queer community and their families through passion, conviction, and action. Cool. I haven't looked at this website, but it seems like they do a good job. I've mostly just seen them at Pride events every so often. And that's why I was like, oh, wait a second. This is another group that I didn't think about prior to look up. And now that I've looked them up, I'm just going, just like I kind of figured. But yeah, that's another group that's apparently located in Oklahoma that I thought was a lot more worldwide. But maybe looks like they were founded in Oklahoma and have spread outwardly from there. But that's okay. Now, to go back to mental health resources that support the queer community, I got this webpage. Yeah, this is mostly a lot more. Oh, this was updated 3-4 days ago. I didn't realize that this was so recent. I guess that's kind of what a Google search does, give you the recent stuff. Whatever. They have a lot of resources on here that are labeled by this table of contents. So they've got, this is mostly phone number sorts of things. To help with specific queer. Yeah, I'll read this sentence or two here. Queer people often face discrimination that can make accessing and receiving mental health care more difficult. Healthcare workers may not understand their needs, and negative interactions can make it less likely that people will seek help when they need it. And then the sentence that I don't like reading, and with a staggering 650 plus anti-LGBTQ plus bills introduced so far this year, both seeking and receiving help are a huge feat in among themselves. So that's what this Google searched mental health resource list is. So here's some resources that are more tailored to queer people than non-queer people. I was going to say regular people, but we're all regular people anyways. There's a crisis text line. No, that didn't highlight very well. Crisis text line, so if you just need to text someone, because you can't say it out loud or anything like that. Trevor Project, their resources here again. Trans Lifeline, specifically support for transgender people. Peer support from a place of experience, since the organization is staffed by trans individuals. So if you're a trans person going through something that you want to talk about specifically to another trans person, to try to seek help that way, here's the number. LGBT National Hotline. It's for people of all ages and offers a confidential, anonymous place to talk about issues including coming out, identity, bullying, safe sex, anxiety, and other concerns. Yeah. I forgot about the part being safe sex. This talks about how to live a healthy life. Hopefully. National Suicide Prevention Lifeline, 988. This is America's National Suicide Hotline. So, while it may not be technically specifically for queer issues, the trained counselor understands the issues of queer people that they might be facing. Their website also offers a section devoted to lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and queer issues, along with information for friends and family looking to help. mostly focused on suicidal thoughts or behaviors. But I guess you can probably still call them with not queer issues, but still being a queer person going through. I mean, in general, it's National Suicide Prevention Lifeline, so you should still call them if you're going through anything like that. Please call these people if you have those problems. Not everyone may be the exact best to talk to, but talking to someone is always better than not talking to anyone. Online resources, this is more of the, hey, I'm doing this right now and need to stop, and know I need to stop, but I can't stop feeling this way right at this second crisis. Online resources are much more, hey, I've been feeling this way for a while, but I'm not actively doing anything on that. GLSEN, the Gay, Lesbian, and Straight Education Network, is an organization that offers information designed to help students take action and initiate changes in their schools and communities. So this is a lot more of a try to get it put in place in your school to help everyone. Oh, this has become the Gender and Sexuality Alliance. Okay. GLSEN is the same thing as GSA. Figured that out. Because my brain doesn't process that acronyms are different or the same as other acronyms that aren't the same letters until after I've read it. And I've literally read this webpage already, so the fact that I still did it afterwards and didn't realize that these were the same things after already reading this webpage. If that does not show how weird my brain sometimes is. I knew that they were the same, and yet I still was confused by the acronyms. This is why I don't use texting lingo. Like, even though I understand a lot of it, I still type out the words because my brain will look at letters and go, why is there 3 letters in a row here that are no vowels? What do they stand for? The GLMA, Health Professionals and Advanced LGBTQ Equality, organization that works to connect people with welcoming healthcare providers. So this is a lot more of like, I don't know how best to describe this. This is more the, hey, I have a medical problem, and it's specifically because of this issue that is direct. For example, because I can't think of another thing, if you think you might have AIDS because of intercourse through same-sex intercourse, which I know is not the only way you can get AIDS, but it's just the way that my brain is trying to think through an example of this, would be, hey, I think I might have AIDS. What's a healthcare provider that is going to be much more understanding and not judge me of like, oh, you had same sex, that's gross, sort of thing, and actually be like, okay, I'm a medical provider, you're coming to me with this concern, we're going to look at it and check it out and make sure that that's not the case or that it's just something else. But the medical provider is not going to judge you based off of, hey, I think I have this problem because of this situation. They're going to go, oh, okay. So this is the problem that you think you have, this is the test that we can do, judgment-free zone sort of thing. Which kind of makes me think of like how more often than not, like if you are having a life-threatening situation, a EMT, I think they're called, emergency medical team. Don't quote me on what EMT stands for. The people who ride in the ambulance who are able to help keep you alive while you go to the hospital very quickly. Those people, in the same way that they don't actually care like what things you are smoking or like what chemicals are in your body, they're not going to call you out to a police officer to say that, yes, this person is illegally having this substance in their body. They're asking you whether you have this illegal substance in your body so that they don't give you another chemical that has the exact inverse effects, which could kill you faster, or so they don't try to give you just like 1 milliliter of morphine if you're addicted to morphine, because it's not going to work. Like, they ask you so that they can give you a chemical that will work to help you with what your problem is without killing you. They're not asking so that they can get you in trouble with the police. In the same way that this healthcare provider finding place isn't going to judge you for being queer, they're asking about it or using that as a source of, okay, I come from this background of you are queer, you have this life experience, and like have probably done these sorts of things, which means that I can provide the best medical service with already knowing, like, if you say, yes, I have sex all the time, they can know, oh, this person's gay, we need to look at, do they have AIDS or some other medical problem that stems from that being the solution, instead of the most physical healthcare providers going, okay, have you had any sexual intercourse? And your response being yes, they go, oh, straight, got it, and have that assumption. This is healthcare providers that have the assumption of, okay, if you're saying that you have this problem and you're saying you're sexually active, here's the solution that actually works for what you're doing, instead of the assumption of, I'm just talking in circles, so I'm gonna stop with this conversation. But this is the GLMA, Health Professionals Advancing LGBTQ Equality, Finding Healthcare Providers. I hope that makes sense. I hope I didn't beat this tiny little paragraph too much that it doesn't make sense anymore. Moving on. I may or may not be very passionate about things regarding queer stuff, since I have learned that I'm queer and kind of suppressed that part of me for 20-something years before I finally started figuring that out in college. Yeah. May or may not have figured that out. That I have things that I'm super passionate about. True Colors United focuses on ending homelessness among LGBTQ plus youth. Statistically, there's a lot more likelihood that queer youth end up homeless. I wonder why, if it has anything to do with getting kicked out of households for being queer, as like a stereotype that's gonna happen. I couldn't guess why. In addition to providing learning resources and advocacy, they also provide fundraising guides for those interested in raising money to support queer youth. Yeah, homelessness. It's an issue. Here's a group that helps with that. I can't say much on that because I don't have any sort of experience being homeless. But I've definitely had experiences of being close to that because of things not happening very well. But I've never actually been homeless. So I can't say much on this topic compared to the others, but it's an issue. Focus on ending homelessness is always a thing that should be there, specifically among queer people for this group. That's cool. Therapy services. There's a lot of online therapy stuff. Pride Institute offers inclusive recovery programs for queer people. Offer both residential and outpatient treatment programs for substance use and addiction. Also offers a family therapy program, sexual health program, mental health referrals, and telehealth options. So, Pride Institute, it's a good place for if you're having or if you need recovery programs for whatever specific reason. They probably honestly have some more options than even this small list, simply because this is a very short paragraph and this encompasses a lot, but they probably have small individual, like substance abuse and addiction being like for this substance and that substance, and how that might impact also the family therapy program and things like that. So like, I don't know. This link's still blue. I didn't click on it. Pride Counseling, online therapy to members of the queer communities. Features counselors who not only specialize in helping people who are queer, they have also experienced with a range of issues including stress, depression, anxiety, sleep problems, trauma, relationships, self-esteem, and interpersonal conflicts. This is the thing that I probably need to go to as well, because it's... I remember seeing this and looking like, I should click on that link later. It's also still blue. I didn't click on this link later. Oops. Support groups. PFLAG, first organization devoted to helping parents, families, and allies supporting queer people. Organization supports a network of more than 400 local chapters throughout the United States. You can locate or even start local organization. Q Chat Space, queer teens to participate in online support groups that are professionally facilitated. All members are verified and the facilitators guide conversations and enforce groups rules to ensure safety. Also offers a Spanish-speaking queer youth option. Also offers an option for Spanish-speaking queer youth. Wow, I can't read very well. So, chat group. If you want to connect with other queer individuals. Yay! Q Chat Space. Youth resources. COVID-19 pandemic also took a serious toll on the mental health and well-being of many queer people, particularly young people. In a 2021 report by the Trevor Project, 70% of respondents reported that their mental health was poor during the pandemic. Yep. Almost half reported that while they wanted mental health care in 2020, they were unable to get it. To stay 56% of queer young people who wanted mental health care in the past year were not able to get it. Yeah, youth resources. It Gets Better project. Apparently this is where I got to that It gets out better project. Interesting. We've talked about that, so I'm going to skip it. LGBT National Youth Talk Line. It's aimed at teens and features trained peer counselors who can offer advice and information on topics such as sexual health, coming out, mental health, and other topics. So this is not this is not specifically a suicide hotline. So don't go into this phone youth talk line with that in mind, because it's aimed at peer counselors. It's like people who are around your age or even younger than you who are being trained as counselors. And you don't really want to scar someone like that. If you have a crisis, go to the crisis resources and call one of those lines. If you are just consistently having a problem and would like advice on coming out or sexual health as they list here, here's the number. They have mental health talk lines, but it's not a hotline. It's a talk line. So this is like the, hey, I'm feeling suicidal, but I'm not feeling actively like I'm going to do anything about it, but I want to talk to someone. Whereas the crisis lines are, hey, I'm physically trying to do this right now, and I know I shouldn't be. I need help. Can you help me? Can you send someone to help me? Sort of things. That's the difference, I think. I'm probably bad at wording that, but that's the main difference that I can immediately think of. Love is Respect offers resources for teens about healthy relationships and dating violence. Section specifically for queer teens with information about dating, abuse, personal safety, supporting others, and other topics. So Love is Respect is not necessarily just a queer conversation. It sounds like. National Runaway Safe Line. If you've run away from home, this number works to provide resources and assistance to young people who have run away from home. Also work to help those who feel unsafe in their home or are thinking of running away. They can provide assistance with transportation, shelter, counseling, and returning home. How they can help and other ways to get help. And that's the end of this article. I hope that all of this has made some amount of sense. I know most of this is just me kind of reading along on a web page, a lot more than me just talking about it. But I don't have a mental focus. I'm really bad at focusing on things. So a lot of this is I read it beforehand. And then when I got to the point of trying to remember what it was, that all went out my brain and went, what was this one again? I need to read it for a second. Oh, that's what it does. Yeah, I remember this now. I'm really good at this, guys. I prepared in advance for what I was trying to do. I am not the best at remembering initially 5 different articles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. Now 6 different articles. I initially was okay with it and knew the first 2, and then after that, all the knowledge that I had of reading these things prior went out the window. Like they're way over there outside of the building I'm in. and way away from anywhere that could help me remember things. So I hope that this was at least somewhat educational on different resources that people can get or can at least look to for different problems you may have, specifically with the guise of it's Pride Month, so here's the focus on queer issues and queer resources. I know not everyone is queer, so a lot of these resources can also be used, and honestly probably should be used, no matter whether you are queer or not. But it's at least a stepping point of, if you don't know what is going on, but you know that you need some form of help, this is at least a way to find some resources that you may need or may want to have for whatever reason. So I hope that that was all well and good for people. I'm going to switch back to this screen. Yay. Let's move over to here to be more out of the way of the title. Yeah. That was today's stream. I know it's a lot shorter than it normally would be. But I'm kind of out of that. Other than clicking on all those links on that website, I don't have much else to talk about or do. So therefore, I'm not going to keep trying to flounder for another hour and a half just to try to make it a 3-hour video like I normally would try to do. But with all of that in mind, I'll be going back to the normal streaming hours and locations this week. So I will see you all tomorrow for Tower Defense Tuesday. We'll be playing Gemcraft Chasing Shadows, I believe. Let me quickly remind myself what tomorrow is, because I'm fairly confident I am correct on that. Yes, Gemcraft Chasing Shadows tomorrow. So I will see you all tomorrow at noon. Have a good day. Have a good night. Have a good evening, whatever time of day it may be for you. Thank you so much for tuning in. See y'all later. Peace out.